Trusted by over 1 million parents worldwide, the intuition process continues to empower children to excel in life.
I don't need to put much effort for his studies. His grasping power has gone up.
After intuition process, I've become less restless and my concentration power has become much more. It has also improved the way I play different kinds of sports.
Unlock clarity and creativity like never before. Move from stress to success, from anxiety to calm, from anger to joy. Transform self-doubt into unshakable confidence.
It's not some voodoo thing, it's a science that children are able to access to another part of our brain which we normally don't use it. This is going to revolutionize education for the coming generation.
This is a superpower and I would love to know how to get it. It was just amazing what these kids are able to do.
To have 2 lakh children across the world who can connect to the centrality of just being themselves. I am extremely ecstatic, flabbergasted to see the intuition process.
When intuition awakens, possibilities become limitless. Unlock the extraordinary within.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Rocklaz. Today we have a very interesting episode for you. We are going to hear something that might surprise you and you might take some time to comprehend it. Kids doing amazing things. We're going to talk about the intuition process, the intuition course by Art of Living. We have covered several topics in this podcast. I hope you enjoy the episode till the end. And make sure to subscribe to the channel so we can keep bringing such amazing episodes to you and that you don't miss out. Cheers. And joining us is Miss Vanilla. Could you please introduce yourself?
My name is Vanilla. I have a master's in international relations from the University of Warwick. And I worked in Hyderabad for many years, running schools for children, slum schools. So for first generation children, we had 10 schools, some in Hyderabad, some in Bangalore, some in Kolkata, reaching out to more than 5,000 students. And I've been associated with the Art of Living since the year 2000. And I've been teaching the children's programs of the Art of Living since 2002. In 2015, Gurudev launched the intuition process, Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar Ji, and I've been teaching it since then. It is a very, very interesting and incredible thing to witness how something so natural to all of us, intuition, is completely forgotten for so many reasons. I think partly because the world values logic so much and the entire educational system is based around logic that there's very little space, if at all, given to intuition. So when we demonstrate to children that it is possible to methodically learn and access your intuition and use it in everyday life, it's really stunning.
What is intuition though?
Intuition literally means getting the right thought at the right time and doing the right action at the right time. Intuition is something that's always right. It comes to you from a space of relaxed silence, and you are able to connect to a voice within yourself that is guiding you the right way. And all of us have had an experience of this at times. As adults also, we keep having experiences of intuition. Sometimes, for example, you know who's calling you before you look at the phone. Or you think of someone and they contact you that day. Or you have an intuition that today it's going to be sunny or today it's going to be rainy. You may or may not listen to it, but you get these flashes of thoughts every now and then. So we get a little clue as adults. It's not a very strong feeling, but sometimes we get a clue and we think, oh, it's a coincidence. I thought of it and it happened. But it turns out that for children, it's very easy to access this intuitive space because their minds are fresher, there's less clutter in the head. So it's a lot easier for them to accept their own intuition and act on it.
Is it like instincts to do something right? Or is it a feeling that takes you in a direction?
Instinct, I think, is programmed into our DNA to some extent. Intuition seems to go beyond that. See, normally, how do we learn anything? When you were a kid, how did you learn, for example?
By touching, seeing, feeling.
Yeah. So through the 5 senses, you were learning about the world around you. That's one level of learning. That's one level from which knowledge comes to you. Then there is intellectual knowledge, the second level. And the knowledge that you get from the intellect is slightly better than the knowledge that you get from senses alone. For example, you see that the sun is setting. That's what your senses are telling you. But intellectually, you know that the sun is not setting. Right? So that knowledge is slightly better than the senses alone. And then there's this third way of knowing things, which is intuitively. Another example that I can share is sometimes, if you go back to when you were in school, when the teacher asked you, what does this word mean? You may not have been able to explain it, but you would know how to use it. Or sometimes in maths, you know the answer. Maybe you can't derive the answer, but you know what the correct answer is. So all these are flashes of intuition that all of us might have experienced. But nobody told us that this is intuition and this is valid. But when we tell children that this is your intuition, they're able to act on it much more consciously, and the results are therefore very amazing.
Can you share some examples of intuition that you have witnessed with the kids you work with?
Yeah. So there is a practice that they have to do every day, which involves body movement, breath work, meditation, and that keeps them in that relaxed state of mind. And as I mentioned, intuition comes from being relaxed. When you're stressed, when you're nervous, when you're anxious, your intuition doesn't really work. But because these children are practicing every day, they're able to access that calm space very quickly. So when they're in school, a lot of them are sharing that they're intuitively able to understand subjects which they found difficult earlier. Now they're able to understand it, whether it's maths or science or whatever was making them stumble earlier is much easier. Many children are also sharing that they've developed photographic memory. So if they study it once, if they see it once, they're able to retain that much better for a much longer period of time. Some of them are saying, if I forget the answer also, I can think of that page in the textbook and I'll have the answer. I can see the answer in my head. Yeah.
Wow. So just scan the whole book?
Pretty much. That's what they're sharing. Foresight improves, which is the most amazing thing that I've seen. And by foresight, I mean knowledge of what is going to happen. One easy example is in sports, a lot of children have shared that now they know the opponent's move before the opponent makes the move. So if they're playing football, they know where the ball is going to land. If they're playing tennis, if they're playing volleyball, they know where the ball is going to land. And all of them in one voice, they're saying that the body is automatically moving in that direction.
That's like a cheat code in real life.
Yeah, it is the greatest life hack ever.
Wow. Yeah, even the girl whom we had, when we had the demo of the intuition, which you can see the video in this video.
Intuition is the sixth sense. So they're able to go beyond the 5 senses and still access the realm of knowledge by using a blindfold. That's the spare blindfold, right? So we have a blindfold which you can try on as well. This is one is blindfold which he uses regularly. You can try this as well. So it's an adjustable blindfold which is completely padded from all sides. So there is no light that comes in from anywhere when you put it on. The bottom is padded, the top is padded, and the sides are padded, and there is no Bluetooth devices embedded anywhere inside it. So no artificial intelligence, this is all absolute, real, natural intelligence. So it's adjustable because heads come in all sizes, and once you wear it to fit snugly, no light comes in. Check in on Sharda.
Okay, this is good.
That's good.
And you know for speaking.
Yeah, right.
Sharda, where are you?
Let's try it on.
Yeah. Oh wow. Completely dark, huh?
Yeah. So there's no light that comes in anywhere.
So this is really good. I mean, I had serious doubts about the blindfolds. We see a lot of other videos online, right? About kids doing things with blindfolds, and there are doubts about the blindfolds, but I tried it always possible to see and to do. I mean, it's not possible because it has It has got these paddings below.
especially.
It's not like a cotton, because when those videos I've seen online, they have cotton here. So like with cotton you could make space and see between, but this is completely packed from down as well as the top. So
Bhavani will wear her blindfold and you can give her anything to read. If you have a card or anything on your mobile, like a message or something that she can read, you can show it to her and she will read it.
What?
Yeah. Or you can type something on your notes and show it. So Bhavani, you can lift up your head and show. See, there is no gap. There's no light that comes in. Or the side, you can put your head down now and show the top also. There is no light that comes in from the top.
okay.
Okay? Yeah. You can show her. You are beautiful. You can show it to the camera also.
What?
You can show a picture, any appropriate picture that she can describe.
She didn't even take it like ahead. It was like dur se hi.
What?
You can show any picture, anything for her to describe.
Wow.
Take a moment, take a deep breath.
Oh, wow, what? Okay, here is the...
It's a video.
it's a photo.
Yeah, it's a video or a photo. There are two people and they're underwater.
Two people underwater. Sure?
You want a closer look?
Yeah.
Actually, the screen is not very bright. She's increased the brightness of the screen.
Okay, it's a picture underwater. There's a person on this side and they're wearing a reddish pink top, and then there's a turtle on the side.
What?
See, intuition is natural and normal to all of us. But
That surprised me also.
yeah, see, our education system is so focused on.
Should I describe?
Oh, she wants to describe
Oh,
the rest of your
please.
phone.
It's a picture, and there's a person or a meditating figure, and then there's leaves coming out of it. The entire thing is in black and white, and then it says Kriya Kia Tracker, and then there's like actual clovers on the back. There's like one green, and then the rest of them are all brown.
Wow.
I cannot believe this is happening. I mean, if I didn't put it on my eyes, I thought this is a joke. But this is no joke.
Then we have Rishan Sikka, who is only 11 years old. He can read, cycle, and he can play cricket. So what is so special? He can do it blindfold for you. If you don't believe me, you can check it out. That is amazing. रिशान की आंखों पे पट्टी बंधी हुई है और वो ब्लाइंड फोल्ड एकदम साइकिल चला रहे हैं और सारे कोन्स को नेविगेट करते हुए एक भी कोन गिरा नहीं है अगर आप देखें तो. जोरदार तालियां. लेट्स हैव अ ह्यूज राउंड ऑफ अपलॉज फॉर रिशान. नेक्स्ट वी हैव अर्जुन हु इज गोइंग टू डू आर्चरी. नहीं, ये वो दी अर्जुन फ्रॉम महाभारत नहीं है. ये even more special है. He's even more special because he's only 13 years old and he's going to do archery blindfold. So let's have Arjun. जोरदार तालियां. हम में से कितने लोग आर्चरी कर सकते हैं एकदम आंखों पे पट्टी बांध के? तो तालियां तो बनती हैं.
So after he puts the blindfold on, there's a target that's set up for him that will be moved. So he doesn't know where the target is.
Huge round of applause for Arjun. The target is set. That is absolutely wonderful.
Can we invite any volunteer to come forward and move the target?
Okay, so we'll move the target. Arjun has no idea, by the way, that where the target is going. Arjun को बिल्कुल पता नहीं है कि target कहाँ जा रहा है. Okay, Arjun, the target is set. Wow. Thank you so much, Arjun. Gurudev and Guru Dronacharya is very proud of you. Now we have Nitya, again 16 years old. She is a specialist in Rubik's Cube. So, everybody, you know what a Rubik's Cube is? So what we're going to do is, we're going to give the Rubik's Cube to a volunteer. They're going to shuffle the Rubik's Cube and give it back to Nitya. Nitya is, of course, blindfold, and she's going to solve the Rubik's Cube. Rubik's Cube का हिंदी मुझे नहीं आता है. So, Rubik's Cube shuffle होगा एक volunteer द्वारा, और वो नित्या को दिया जाएगा जिनके आंखों पे पट्टी है, और वो Rubik's Cube को solve करेंगी.
Can we have one more person shuffle it once again?
As you can see, we have our volunteers who are shuffling the Rubik's Cube.
You can start a timer to see how long Nitya takes to solve the Rubik's Cube.
I cannot even solve a Rubik's Cube with my eyes open. She is solving the Rubik's Cube with her eyes closed. And she is done.
It was around 20 seconds.
Yeah. So she solved the Rubik's Cube in around 20 seconds. 20 सेकंड में उन्होंने आंखों पे पट्टी बांध के Rubik's Cube सॉल्व कर दिया है. कितने लोग आंखें खोल के कर सकते हैं?
So for Sharada, she has the same blindfold that Bhavani has, which
Try this one, which you are trying.
Yeah. Okay, try that. Wear that one. Fine. Okay. Lift up your head. So she's also showing you there's no light coming in from anywhere. No light from the side. Bend your head down. No light from the top. So for Sharada, what you can do is either of you. I have some paper and some colors here. You can draw something. You can use any colors that you want. You don't need to say what you're going to draw. Okay. And she will copy the same thing using the same colors.
She will copy the same thing using the same color.
Yeah. I mean, don't become too artistic and draw a very complicated picture.
I don't know how to draw.
That's helpful.
That's helpful. Helpful. Oh my god. Okay.
Anything.
But yeah. Okay.
You can use multiple colors if you want.
Multiple colors.
It's up to you. You can put that back in.
Okay, sure. I mean, now I'm sure it will work. Anyway. Come join me. Good.
So you can just put the used ones back.
Okay, sure.
You can give it to her.
Yeah, sure. So I will start the video.
And
Even choosing the colors from her pack.
I wouldn't even find them if I was watching.
can you also tell us what you do? Chada?
Yeah.
She didn't
So-
understand details, sorry.
It's a man, a stick figure with purple green background on his head and an apple.
Okay. Super.
Wow.
If I didn't saw this live,
You wouldn't believe it.
I mean, it's completely unbelievable thing. I mean, I believe in everything that is possible, but it's completely different once you see it and experience it. Then it looks like it's not possible.
Yeah, I agree with you. It took a while, I think, for all of us, but now it feels very normal. And every day the children bring out more stories about how they're able to use their intuition, and that is even more fascinating. But before we go into that, you want to play a video game?
Oh, yeah, sure. I have it on my phone.
Which one?
Subway Surfers.
Okay. So, you know.
Don't tell me she's going to play it blindfold.
Blindfolded, of course. That's the whole point. Start?
Yes.
These are games that I can't cope with my eyes open. You cannot? I can't play them with my eyes open. I don't know what's happening. It's too fast and difficult. You're trying to trick her up? She knows what you're up to.
Oh, really? She can also
She's sneakering.
Yo.
Okay, you want to stop and tell us your score?
I have collected 20,008 coins and scored 10,000 points completed, rolled 15 times completed.
Wow.
with eyes closed.
Yeah.
Wow. This is insane.
How do you feel about it? Being able to do this all blindfold?
Well, it's just a normal thing right now it's just like doing something with my eyes open, but there's just a blindfold. I don't feel any difference, but I do it better with my blindfold on. That's the
Because then
thing.
you're really using your intuition.
Yeah.
And how it felt first time when you did it?
I was a child. I was 5 years when I did this. At that time, I was like, okay, I've become a magician. I can do anything right now. but I also felt really I figured out that I could use this to know myself and know what to do and what not to. So yeah.
Wow.
How does this help in your like regular life, in your studies and all that?
Okay, so I do a lot of extracurricular activities and I miss a lot of classes because of that. So if I go through a topic once, it remains in my memory for a really long time and I can like have access to it whenever I want. And this really helped me in studies. And before doing the course, I was a okay-ish, average student, who was never interested in studying. It would take a lot of time for my mom to make me sit to start studying. But after doing the course, I started sitting on my own. I started studying on my own, and I get a lot better marks. And also, before doing the course, I was a very introverted person. Like, even if it was my relative, I wouldn't talk to them much. But now I can talk to 1,000 people at once, and I have no stage fear. I feel more confident.
How far your intuition goes? Like, I don't believe it stops here. I think it's developing the
Yeah.
skills on the
So,
daily basis.
as the more you practice, the more you explore, and it opens up for a lot of other things, which are also really helpful in your daily life.
For example?
I can like find lost objects or people. Yeah.
Lost objects or lost people.
Yeah. There are a lot of people who can do that.
Where did she leave her slippers?
Outside.
Which outside? Which direction?
There.
What?
I asked her, where did you drop your slippers?
What?
She said,
Where are my slippers?
Over there.
And from what side?
It's straight from here towards the right.
Oh my god.
Bhavani, what about you? How has the process and the course helped you?
The biggest way intuition has helped me is I had this huge fear of horses before I did the program, and after I've done the program, I'm like the fear of the unknown has vanished, and I'm able to speak to my I can communicate with my horses, and I'm a horse rider now. It's like you put me with the horses, you cannot pull me away from them. That fear has completely vanished. And personally, I think that is the biggest gift intuition has given me. And apart from that, I'm able to sense people's nature. So the moment I meet a person, I'm able to understand if I can trust that person or if I'm not supposed to trust that person. Almost like a inbuilt security system kind of thing. And
so you can trust us?
That's a good question. First question. You can guess the nature of the people. How natured are the people?
The moment I meet a person, my intuition will tell me that okay, you can trust this person, you should not trust this person.
And that's it, or it goes deeper.
It goes deeper sometimes. Like I can understand if someone's very angry and like they don't show it, but I can understand if they're very angry.
Am I angry now? Am I angry? Okay.
You're more shocked.
I'm super shocked.
I think I still haven't come down from the shock.
Yeah, but it's like most beautiful shock I ever had, I guess.
And apart from that, also decision-making skills have improved a lot. Any situation I face in my life and I have to take a decision, and it's like 2 or more options. I don't have to break my head over it. I'll just like see what my options are, and my intuition will tell me, okay, this is the one that you have to take. Almost like Google Maps.
Can you give us an example?
For example, like stream, I had to decide what I had to take. When I was writing my board exams, I had to decide which stream to take. And personally, I like commerce and humanities, so I was very confused about that. And then I just think to my intuition, and then immediately it tells me, okay, you have to take science. And now I'm in science. I did not have to stress about which stream to take. Like, this is a daily life example. It happens on a daily basis. It happens. Apart from that, I also help people find lost objects, lost people, mostly missing cases and kidnapping cases.
Can you share an example of that?
Yeah, it's pretty recent. There was an old man who went missing in Jayanagar, Bangalore itself, and the call had come from the person's relative who was in Canada. So the person in Canada calls and says that my relative has gone missing and he's in Bangalore. And immediately I asked for the details, and then I pulled up the map, and then I have traced the location. So every half an hour they would call to check for the location, and every half an hour I would tell the location. So they go there, they check there, and then the people over there verify that yes, that person was there. And at one point I also said, like, they shared pictures, CCTV footage where he's in a blue shirt and black pant, but then when they asked me, I described him in a brown shirt and a blue pant. And yeah, and then the locations I was telling, they were following that. And then after one point I told that he's there near to a bus stop and I can see greenery around him, and there'll be a cab person who will stop and find him. And like, because they've spread missing posters everywhere, so the cab person will recognize him and then contact the people who have contacted me. And after some time they call back and they say that a cab person indeed did call, and the old man was found on the roadside and he was in a brown shirt and blue pants, and midway someone had given him a change of clothes. You know, for the question that you asked, if we can see future or not, one example is I have survived an earthquake because I was able to predict it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we were in Bangladesh. We went to visit my father. He was working there at the time, and we were visiting someone's house, and they're in 16th floor. So we get into the lift, and immediately I tell my parents that we have to exit the lift the moment it opens. And my mother did not take me seriously because I had just done the course, and she did not believe me herself. And then she was joking, saying, "Do you think I'll settle down in the lift or what?" And then we reached 16th floor by then. The lift opens, and then me and my father come out, and immediately we pulled my mother out, and the next second the lift has crashed all the way down, and we see outside it's a huge earthquake. The sirens have started, the people are running out of the buildings, and all the way from the 16th floor to the ground floor I held my parents' hands and I got them out. And the person we were visiting, she said that, you know, she has cooked a lot of food and all of that will go to waste, so we can come again because this is just a normal thing for the people staying in that area. And then I told my parents that exactly in 5 minutes another round of earthquakes will come, and this time my mother believed me. And we waited 5 minutes, we were there, and there was another round of earthquakes. And then immediately my parents just sat in the car and we left from there.
Oh my god. What about your sports you haven't shared yet?
Okay, so I'm in 10th grade right now, and I started playing volleyball when I was in 8th grade. And when you're a beginner at a game, they don't let you play big matches, tournaments and stuff. But through intuition, I could figure out where the ball is going to come even before it comes. And my body would just automatically move towards that direction. This helped me a lot in my sports. And in 8th grade, I got into my under 14 team. I became the captain of my under 14 team. And in 9th grade, I got promoted to my under 16 team. I became the captain of my under 16 team. And in 10th grade also, I played for our school's under 19 team.
And how old are you?
I'm 15 right now.
Wow, you kids are awesome. Like you're watching sci-fi movie, actually. Yeah. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Except that it's not sci-fi.
Except it's not a sci-fi, it's a reality. That's great, actually.
Have you two had incidences where you thought, okay, this might not seem right, but let me try to use my intuition and see?
There was there was this one exam, like I studied everything Like, I know my entire syllabus by heart. Like, you ask me any question at that point, I will tell you within 2 seconds the answer. And it was the exam I wrote enough to get, like 90 plus marks. And then I was bored, so I thought I'll use my intuition and try to copy off of another person to check if it works or not. And it did not work.
I was bored, so I tried to copy and it didn't work.
Wow.
That one was also quite interesting about the girl talking to the horse.
Yeah, so another amazing example of intuition that we have seen is communicating with nature. Many children have shared that they're able to communicate with animals. And it's not just a one-way connection where you show your love, but they're able to also somehow understand what the animals are saying, feeling, needing. And there are some amazing examples of children who are able to communicate with horses especially. We have 3 horse riders who have shared that they're really good at listening to their horse now.
And can you name the girl who won some competition?
Yeah, Divyakriti Singh. She's the first Indian woman to win a gold medal or any medal in an equestrian sport. So she won in dressage in the Asian Games that was held 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. And she did her intuition process when she was 17 years old. And she discovered that she was already a horse rider, but she discovered that she's able to communicate much better with the horse. She knows when the saddle is tight, or she knows when the horse's leg is something needs to be attended to. And a lot of amazing stories she shared about how when they had to go for the Asian Games in China, they had to travel from Germany to China. It was a very, very long journey, and there was a 10-hour delay at some point where the horses, because they were already in their, that
cage
sort of thing where they transport, they couldn't be offloaded from the plane. And it was so difficult, but because of her ability to communicate so well with her horse, she was able to
calm the horse down. Wow. Even one of the stories that surprised me was finding somebody whom you have never seen, or in abduction cases or something like that.
Yeah, this is where I feel that intuition goes beyond, firstly, the 5 senses, and it also goes beyond the intellect and the instinct. So there are lots of children who are able to help other people find their lost and missing objects and lost and missing people. So they reach out, the people who have a missing case or a lost object case, they reach out to the children with whatever details they have. Let's say it's a missing person and the person is lost somewhere in Ludhiana, and they will share whatever they know, last seen location, etc., etc. And a child sitting in Bangalore is able to accurately pinpoint where the person can be found. And the child has never been to Ludhiana, but they're able to do it. It's really incredible. So the way I understand it for myself is like how Wi-Fi is everywhere and you just need a device which can connect to it like that. Knowledge about everything is all around us in the very space that we're in. And when your mind is calm and you're able to center yourself, you can tap into that knowledge.
I like how Bhavani was telling yesterday that she downloaded this information, or as you're saying, everything is around and you can get information from that. What was your first reaction when you got to know about the intuition process? You have been working with children for so long. How was your first experience of witnessing the intuition process?
It was completely unbelievable, because one of the ways in which we train them in the intuition process course is we give them a blindfold. So their sense of sight is removed. And then we ask them to identify colors, read pictures, and so on. And the children were doing it accurately. And it was so stunning. I think for the first few courses, I was just upside down trying to figure out where are they able to see from. And as it turns out, they're not seeing with their eyes anymore. They're able to see with another faculty, another dimension of the brain. And it's a clear indication of how powerful the consciousness is. More than 150,000 children around the world have done this program. And
150,000?
So.
Wow.
And they all have similar experiences. Maybe they cannot do the same thing somebody else does with their intuition, but they all have their own way of expressing their intuition, which is mind-blowing.
Like different kind of superpowers.
Yeah, there is a tendency to call it a superpower, but I think actually it is the most normal and natural power that all of us have. And as I started teaching it, I started remembering that I used to be very intuitive as a child. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it even now, but sometimes I can see the future as if it's a movie happening before my eyes. And if I spoke about it as a child, it was too weird, and then I stopped talking about it because there was no explanation for what was happening inside my head. But when I started teaching it, I was able to remember that I had this dimension within myself, and surprisingly it came back. And now that I have a context in which I can understand it, I am able to relate it to what is going to happen.
So you can still...
It is still there, that ability is still...
So it's not just for the kids.
It's not for the kids.
It remains with you even when you grow up.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And many of the children who are now much older, who they're in their mid-20s now, their intuition still works for them in more and more amazing ways, because now that they're at an age where they can process it intellectually and understand it much better, what's happening to them. So some of them have become doctors, and it helps so much to be an intuitive doctor.
So like probably being able to diagnose even without tearing up.
Exactly. The patient walks into the room and they already know what the issue is. They've shared that. Or sometimes they're able to find solutions intuitively. And this is just a forgotten dimension of our own natural being.
What if the kids use this for probably like stock market or gambling?
The kids don't want to do it. Usually it's the adults who want them to do it. A lot of kids' moral compass has become even stronger with practicing intuition. For children already the world is divided into black and white, and it's good and it's bad, and they know that it's a line that they shouldn't cross. And we have seen many children telling us, especially in the initial days when intuition process started, and they realized another amazing thing that happens is they're able to preempt the question paper. If there's an exam coming up, they already know what questions are going to come. And they all were hesitating, saying, this is not something, our friends don't have this ability, so if I use it, it's a little bit like cheating, so I'm not going to use it for my exams. Whereas if it was an adult in their place, I don't think that would be the situation.
Yeah. So do you think that using it for the bad cause reduces the powers?
I think so. They have shared that when they purposely tried to do wrong things with their intuition, they were not even able to use their intuition. And just to drive it home a little further, we also take an oath on the ethics of intuition. So the children and the parents, everybody takes an oath on where they will use their intuition and where they won't. Because another thing that happens is, especially between parents and children, the children are intuitively able to understand the parents. They can even read their minds on occasion. But we don't want the children to become invasive with this kind of abilities. We don't want them to read random people's thoughts and minds. It's not right. So we give them a little bit of guidance on all of this. So they won't do anything unless they have the permission to do it. Yeah.
Parents of kids will be so happy, especially the ones who have a bit of autism or learning disabilities like dyslexia. I was reading some of the stories and they were phenomenal. Can you share a couple of them regarding the learning aspect and how it has helped them in school?
Yeah. One is it has helped with children with no other learning disabilities, also it has helped them. But especially for children with ADHD and autism, it has been rather extraordinary. ADHD children are responding really very well to intuition. I think because it helps them to relax. And their sleep pattern becomes much better when they start doing regular practice, daily practice of the techniques that we teach them. That brings down their ADHD problem almost to nil. And some of the children who have had diagnosis of autism also have shared that now they have no issues, no symptoms of autism left. For example, one of the major symptoms is that they can't make eye contact and their verbal communication is very poor. And I met a boy who's now 20 years old. He did this course when he was 14 and he was already diagnosed as autistic. He had to take special permissions at school. He had a lot of exemptions when writing exams and so on. And one of the biggest problems he had was eye contact and communication. But today he is able to make eye contact unbroken. No matter how long he is talking, he will not break eye contact with you. It's really amazing. And he is expressive and has no difficulty communicating. And he says that now his friends don't even realize that he had an autism problem unless he shares with them that at one point he had this problem.
Who is this for? And how can kids learn this process?
This is for children between 5 to 18 years. And we have different formats which we conduct. 5 to 8 is one group. The younger kids, they have a slightly shorter duration program, a 10-day program, which includes both online and offline sessions. So it's a hybrid model where we teach them, and then we also help them with daily sessions on Zoom so that they can do their practice well. For the older age group, 8 to 18, it's a 17-day program. So it's spread over 3 weekends where they come in person, and during the week we conduct online sessions. And it's really open for everyone. There's no preconditions attached to this.
Where is it available?
All over the world, pretty much.
How can parents find you?
On the Art of Living website, they can find us.
The search for the intuition program.
Process. Intuition process, yeah.
So in the intuition process course, what is the format and curriculum?
So I'll talk about the format that we have for 8 to 18-year-old children. The first weekend they come and we teach them some techniques to relax the mind. And they have to practice that during the week. And we also share a few tips on how to, regulate your emotions, what to do when you face criticism, or how to make more friends and so on. Helpful things which are not taught anywhere actually, life skills. And when they practice the initial breathing exercises and they experience that relaxation in the mind, and then they come back the next weekend where we teach them more about intuition and how to access it. And that we do through some body movement, some breath work, some meditation, and then all these different activities which help them to recognize their intuitive thoughts. Some of them are with a blindfold so that they realize that even when the 5 senses are not working, they still can get the right answer. And some of them don't involve a blindfold at all, because different children respond to different things. And then they go back during the week, they practice what they have learned the second week. And the final week, we have a conclusion where we bring it all together. Yeah. So this is all based on yogic techniques.
Once you've done the course, do you give them like assignments or practices that they can keep doing?
Yes, we do have ongoing engagement with the children. We have an advanced program for the intuition process where they can come back and learn some more things. So there is a continuous engagement between the teacher and the participants.
Is there something to fear for the kids by the parents? Because this might seem very different and new, right?
Yeah.
A bit like miracle. So some parents might hesitate or get scared. What do you have to tell them?
Sometimes they hesitate because they're worried that children will come to know their secrets. They can't hide anything from children anymore. But there is so much emotional regulation that happens. The children also know how to keep secrets. Even if they come to know, they're quite mature about it. And I think the advantages are so amazing. Wouldn't you want your child to know how to take the right decision, how to get the right thought at the right time? It is such a critical skill, especially for teenagers to know. And a lot of children and parents have shared that with their intuition now, they know when they meet a new person, they know whether the person is good for them or not. What are their intentions? So they're able to keep themselves safe. They're able to make the right choices with their friends. They're able to make the right choices with their career. It removes a lot of the anxiety and the tension that otherwise builds up around these subjects, especially when you're a teenager or you're the parent of a teenager. So I think when we look at the advantages, it's significant. And it's like the greatest gift you can give to your child. To be able to rely on being guided internally by something that is always right. What more do you want?
And probably the earlier you give, the better it is.
Yeah, though, it works no matter at what age you do it. But yes, children who learn it earlier don't question it. And it's even more easy for them to get in touch with their own intuition.
I'm feeling a bit jealous. I wish this was there when I was in school.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, you already had the intuitive abilities to see the future. I wonder what more things you would do with this.
Don't know.
What are the most frequent questions you get asked by parents?
One major worry is, okay, they do this program, they get some abilities, and how do you keep them interested and excited about the whole thing? So that's something that we also participate in. As I said, we have ongoing engagement. And it's not like we teach the program and then we disappear from their lives. It's not like that. We are in touch with them. We have various activities for them at various points, and they can always come back and do further programs with the Art of Living. That's one thing. Sometimes parents also worry about the fact that, some children take a little bit longer to display any intuitive ability. So that there we have to do some hand-holding for the parents, because as the children keep practicing the techniques, at some point, whenever it happens for some children. It's not always an instantaneous thing, though many children do instantly get it as well. So these small concerns are there at times, but all of it can be managed.
And what are the most frequent questions of the kids?
Yeah, the kids do come in wanting to become X-Men. And to some extent it happens.
Yeah.
What I find rather interesting and a little bit sad is nowadays even 5-year-old children have anxiety and stress.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's shocking. It's shocking what we have done to the world. So when they come here and they start to relax, it's a whole new experience for them. And the minute they start to relax, fears go away. And that itself is such a huge change. Though they can't express it, the parents are able to share these kind of things with us.
Wow.
Yeah, it's unexpected. I knew for a very long time, teenagers go through a lot. But to see a 5-year-old who is having sleepless nights and is unable to express why, that's too much.
Yeah. They might not have words to express, but this calms them down.
Yeah.
What I'm surprised about, by what I'd heard and before I had met you, before the demo, I thought intuition process was just about doing things with the eyes closed. I mean, that's surprising in itself, but all the other things that you're sharing are so essential and amazing. It's really, I would highly recommend, if you have kids, especially if you're my cousins, I would recommend you to do it without wasting any more time. What does Guruji say about this? What does Guruji say about the intuition process?
I think he is taking us to a sort of a more evolved civilization through this. Because if we are able to use our intuition and then we grow up, the children grow up and they are the leaders of tomorrow and they're able to take the right decisions which impact humanity, it's going to be amazing. A world which is not led only by the motivation that we see today, which is mostly greed. It would be very interesting to see.
Why make normal people blind with the blindfolds? Why not help people who are already 100% blind? If they're able to see it, wouldn't that be fantastic?
Okay, so there are two parts to this answer. Firstly, the blindfold that we give to children is just a tool to help them initially to understand what is their intuitive thought versus what is their normal intellectual thought. And your eyes are open, there are so many inputs that you're getting and you're calculating, you're using your logic, and you're not able to always use your intuitive mind. But when the eyes are closed and then you're able to identify colors, then you're able to read text, the children also realize that there's something else in my brain that's working, that's giving me this intuitive answer. So it's just to help them to distinguish that.
It's probably like meditation. Like we anyways close our eyes during meditation, right?
It's not really meditative at that point, just to help the children to understand that distinction. And it's a brief thing. It's not like they have to practice with a blindfold every day. Initially, to go from the known world of the 5 senses to this unknown world of the 6th sense, we have to give them some bridge. And that bridge is the blindfold. Okay, and once they understand what is that intuition, the blindfold is not the primary thing for them. It's how they apply their intuition in real life, in daily life. And these are the examples, their decision making is so accurate. Their academic abilities are so good. So many children have developed talents which they didn't know they had in terms of music, in terms of painting. It's really extraordinary how they're able to use intuition in everyday life. Yeah, the blindfold things that they can do is absolutely unbelievable. But personally, I feel that the daily application of intuition is even more unbelievable. Now, the second part is that we do conduct the intuition process for children with special needs, whether they are blind or they're deaf and mute. And the results there are extraordinary as well. Children who have never seen colors, who are born blind, who don't have a structure of the eye, are able to identify colors. And you cannot explain what is red or what is blue. You have to see it. There is no other way to explain it. But these children are touching things and telling us what color it is. Even strange colors, stranger colors, not just the primary colors. They're saying pink and brown and things that you would not expect someone who has never seen colors to know or understand. It's again a display of the power of the consciousness. With children who are deaf and mute, who are 100% deaf, that means there is no vibration on the eardrum. We have done pre and post study with an audiologist. So they measure the vibration on the eardrum. And there was a significant improvement after practicing the intuition process for 40 days. It's clinically impossible for someone who is deaf to have a change in that level. I don't remember the name of that measure, but they have recorded it, it's there. So it is possible to go beyond just the five senses and to access the sixth sense. It is possible.
It's beyond comprehension. We always talk about science and medicines being so evolved in the West, but if we have techniques like this, we will overtake everything.
Yeah, why not? And perhaps that is what the reference is to how the rishis and the ancient sages knew so much about the universe. Because they knew so much about astronomy, for example. And we have found no evidence of any physical instruments being there in ancient times, but they probably knew how many moons Jupiter had, which is not visible to the naked eye. So how could they know so much about the world around them? How could they know so much? Maybe it was intuition. Yeah. And we have seen examples of that with children now who practice intuition. Sometimes they suddenly write something in a different language, a different script. There are children who have written in multiple scripts, and it's just coming to them spontaneously, like some characters start forming in their head and they write it down. And later on when we check it up, they're all different languages than actual phrases or sentences or words in different languages. How is it possible that children know this? It's the power of meditation, clearly.
I came in with a very putting a lot of intellect in analyzing how is this possible, trying to get some scientific thing out of it, trying to change like I was saying you before the demo about, we tested out the eye, what do you call that?
Blindfold.
Blindfolds, trying to some different ways, some different things, but it is, for the intellectual people, I would just say, just see the demo, see the kids in person do it, and then you'll see what it is. Instead of just thinking on how it is happening, maybe just meet some of these kids and see how it goes.
Absolutely. And historically also, any new thing, any new discovery, any new scientific concept that comes up, it does cause a little bit of chaos. When it's in the early stages, people don't always accept it. But if your mind is open, then it becomes part of daily life. For example, I'm sure all of us, when we were very young, we used to dream of things like video calls, or I had a very clear dream of something like an iPod, where all my music could be on one device and I could play whatever I wanted. And of course, it was a disruption. It was a technological disruption when it all happened. And now it's
a regular thing.
You take it for granted that you can do video calls with anybody in the world, and probably on the moon also.
Wow.
isn't it? So you have to. We are at a stage right now with the intuition process where science needs to catch up, and
Science needs to catch up.
yeah.
So I'm seeing two revolutions here. One, we have technology with AI doing so many things, and here is a revolution with kids. What revolution would you call this?
Absolute intelligence.
Absolute intelligence with the intuition abilities.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing, no? So people, probably in 5-10 years, it will be so common that people who haven't done the course will be at a loss.
Tathastu. Yeah, because it is a normal, natural thing. It's present in all of us. We are not introducing intuition into their heads from the outside. We're just telling them, hey, you have intuition and this is the way to use it. And this is the way you get easier access to it.
Wow. I'm trying to imagine a intuitive kid using AI, like two powers together.
AI plus AI.
AI plus AI. It will be crazy.
Yeah. And any discovery that has happened, the stories that we hear about how scientists discovered things, it all happened in a moment of relaxation. When Newton relaxed and he fell asleep and the apple fell on his head, if that story is correct, then it happened during a moment of relaxation and he got that thought. Or the story of Archimedes and how he discovered the principle is when he relaxed in a bathtub. That's when he had a moment of discovery. A lot of scientists share that in that moment of relaxation is when the discovery happens.
Thomas Edison used to do this. He used to put a metal plate on the ground and sit with some metal balls in his hand and just try to take a nap thinking about a question that he wants a solution for. Just keep it and fall a bit asleep, and as the marbles would release and drop on the plate, and it would wake him up, and then he would have the idea.
Yeah.
So that state between falling asleep and being awake, he used to get most of his ideas there.
Yeah.
So now kids can access this.
They can access it at will.
At will.
They don't have to do the metal balls in the plate.
So what are some more stories that you can think that just blew you away?
Yeah, so the foresight that I mentioned that children develop, there are many instances where it has kept children and their families safe. So sometimes when something bad is about to happen, children come to know. Yesterday, one of the children was sharing how she was able to know that there's an earthquake that's about to happen, and she was about to she managed to keep her family safe from that. There are children who have similarly, like a 10-year-old child was at home with his grandfather, and he suddenly got a feeling that my grandfather is not well, I should call somebody. And his grandfather was having a heart attack at that point. For a 10-year-old child to respond to that situation in a calm way is so extraordinary. There's another story of a young girl, probably less than 10 years old, who was playing at home, and I think she was alone at that point. And she was playing with some matches, and her dress caught fire. And without panicking, she went and stood under the shower. She turned on the shower. So, they're able to keep themselves and their families safe. That is, how extraordinary is that? Some parents have shared that sometimes when Google Maps doesn't work, the children are able to direct them when they're traveling. You have to take this turn, you have to go that way.
Wow.
There are lots and lots of stories that we come to hear about every single day. And all of them are equally stunning.
So what I feel is it's not just about particular set of skills or superpowers that can unlock. It can come out in many different ways.
Every day is a discovery.
Discovery.
Every day. I mean, a lot of these things we realized because children came back to us and said, now I'm able to talk to animals. Now I'm able to, foresee what's going to happen. Now I'm able to find missing objects. That's how we came to realize that all this happens.
So does it just happen, or kids go in with the thought that, okay, I want this kind of ability?
I think it's a combination of both, because they're also hearing stories and they're like, let me explore my intuition a little bit more. So some children have attempted painting, which they've never done before, and discovered that they're really good at it.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think it's a combination of things happening spontaneously and children exploring their intuition in various ways. We don't always teach. We don't have the time to teach them this many different things in the program. So a lot of self-discovery is happening.
The first batch of the intuition process, they must be how old now?
It's difficult to say.
In their 15 or 20
So let's
years
say the
old?
youngest was 8 plus now it's 11 years.
19, 20 years
Yeah.
old.
But if they were already 17, then they'll be 27, 28 years old.
What are their experiences after growing up? What stories have they shared?
So some of them have shared that while they are not so good at the blindfold activities anymore, their real life application of intuition is still very strong. Their decisions are very correct. Their career choices have been very correct. So, the daily use of intuition is still very profound.
Wow.
Yeah.
You were sharing about this yesterday, that when you have no cravings, no aversions, it's more easier in the kids. Can you tell a bit more about that?
So let's say as an adult you get a thought that I should do this. Let's say you get a thought that you should buy a house. But you don't know whether it's coming from a desire or it's coming from intuition. It's very difficult to unpeel all the layers that may be going on in an adult brain. But for a child, it's that is not there. They don't have that much.
They don't have judgment.
One is they don't have judgment. They don't have so many desires and cravings also. So it's much easier if they get a thought, they'll just say it. And a lot of parents have become very mindful of what these children are saying who are practicing intuition. So they're a little more respectful. If the child says do this, they take it at face value. If the child says don't do it, they take it more seriously.
So parents also can ask kids if I should buy a house or not.
Yeah. There are instances where some parents were sharing that when they were looking at houses, they would ask the child very quietly, is this the house for us? And a couple of times the child said, no, this is not the house. And then they kept searching and found a better house.
Wow.
Yeah. It's very interesting, no?
It must be a tough time for the teachers to design a curriculum for them. I mean, evaluation will have to be better than just an exam, written exam where the answers are there. Because when you have kids who can predict the questions, we'll need a new way to evaluate them.
Yeah, it really has to force us to rethink the entire examination process in India. And Gurudev has said many times that this will bring a revolution in education. When children practice their intuition process daily, and if you give them a multiple choice question paper of a higher level than they are studying, even if they don't understand the question, they can pick out the right answer.
Oh.
And not the greatest example. I mean, children do put in their effort and they do study. But one child was sharing that he wanted to experiment a little bit. So he was writing a maths competitive exam. I think he was in his 8th class. So it was not a critical exam. And when he went to the exam hall, he decided he will not look at the question paper. So those, you have to blacken out the multiple choice.
Yes.
So he used his intuition and he just marked all the multiple choice answers. And he got 88%.
Whoa. That's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah. And a lot of children have shared that they do put in their effort. It's not like they can avoid studying. But what they took 5 hours to study, now they're able to do it in 1 hour. And even in the exam, they don't get stressed. If they realize that they're running out of time, at that point they'll use their intuition and they'll answer the rest of the paper. So it's just giving them that edge.
We had a podcast previously about homeschooling. So this could be a great benefit to people in regular school also and homeschooling also. And there was this aspect about socializing, playing games, or how do you think this intuition process helps with socializing?
I think it makes them really good judges of character, as I mentioned earlier. In fact, one of the kids was sharing with us that sometimes when his friends are doing something which is not correct, he is actually able to
tell them to.
He's actually able to bring them down. Yeah. And or he's able to stay away from it. Depends on the situation. And in both cases, I felt it was very mature. decision for the child who is just a teenager to be able to take that kind of a decision is really good. So their social skills are really good. Their expression becomes so much better. And, as part of our ethics of intuition, we also take an oath that they don't show off their abilities. So they're just normal, natural kids having fun with their friends.
Yeah. I mean, if you can learn so fast, you can learn so many more things also, right?
Exactly. And if you're not worried about exams, because you know that you'll be able to face them well, that will give you so much more time to develop your personality as a human being, rather than focus on rote learning.
I used to have this issue about confidence. I was in a boarding school and peer pressure and all that. How would this help in that case also?
Yeah.
Self-esteem and confidence.
Actually, their ability to regulate their emotions is one of the greatest things that we have seen. A lot of the children don't hesitate to talk to even thousands of people with confidence. And if they face some criticism also, they are not shaken by it. As an adult also, many of us, we can't handle slight criticism also. To be able to handle that as a young child is extraordinary. And even if you put them in a tough spot, they will very quickly bring themselves back to the center and they will continue whatever they have to do.
They are able to come back and relax and maintain that state of mind.
Yeah. Like one of the children the other day, somebody asked them, do you still have exam stress? He says, no, I don't have it. My parents have it.
Wow. Like we are in the social media world and kids are just scrolling the phones. Have you seen that addiction reduce because of this, or how do they deal with social media and technology in your observation, the kids who have done the process?
They do have some sense about when they're crossing the line with that. Because firstly, for a certain amount of time a day, they're doing their practices, they're away from social media at that time in any case. And I think they like to be in that quiet space for themselves. So they have that ability to self-regulate. A lot of parents have shared that self-discipline also has increased. Self-discipline. So earlier where moms would have to, chase them to wake them up, get ready or do your meditation, do all this. After a few weeks or months of practice, they start doing it by themselves.
Wow. And I even like Bhavani, what she said about choosing what career to take or what stream to take. Because even we see so many options because of social media. And that choice becomes a paralysis, which one to take. And then if we just choose one, we again regret about this was not good or good. But with Bhavani's experience yesterday, it seems amazing. Can you share more incidences where kids were able to choose the right stream, or they had issues before but they were easily able to choose what they want to do?
I remember one of the children, I think it was after her 12th and she had to decide what she needs to do. And she got this intuitive thought that she wants to become a pilot. And it was not the career of choice her parents wanted, but she said, no, I'm going with it. And she got into a good flying school and she started her studies. And she was so happy that she's able to do something which she wanted to do and she finds satisfying to do. It's not an easy thing, right? We still don't live in a world where alternative careers are easily accepted. But when these children are able to make that choice for themselves and they find that it's good for them, it suits them, I think even parents are happy. And
yeah, the parents have seen the track record of them being successful with the intuition, so they're like, yeah, okay, do it.
Yeah.
कुछ तो अच्छा होगा उसमें.
Yeah. There are examples like that of children making the right choice about their career.
How do you personally feel about the intuition process? You have been teaching for so many years. You're a teacher even for the intuition teachers. How do you feel personally?
I'm very excited. I have never been fond of exams. And if there is a way to have a system where exams are not required and there can be more focus on learning, that would be so much better for the whole world. And of course, there is a concern about the fact that what will the next generation of leadership be like, whether it's political, whether it's in business or any field. We need good leaders. And by that, you have to have someone with empathy, someone with foresight, someone who's able to take the right decisions. And these children are being equipped with all of those things. So when they become grown-ups and when they come into positions of leadership, we will only see good things come out of it.
Amazing. Any more thoughts you want to share? Any concluding remarks for the audience?
Yeah, when we see the demos, it's really mind-blowing. Some parents are attracted because they want their children to have those kind of visible changes. But there is so much more to intuition. There is so much more to explore. And as the children keep growing and developing, there are amazing things happening. So keep your mind open. Even if your logic is saying this is not true, just keep your mind open to the fact that maybe there is a truth in all of this. Otherwise, the art of living would not bring out something which is less than excellent. And it's good. It's good, it's useful, there are no harmful side effects, there's a lot of fun side effects. Like discovery of talents is such a fun side effect from the intuition process. And you should gift your child with intuition.
Okay. Thank you so much for being our guest today and sharing about this amazing and magical, mysterious intuition process. And I can imagine a world where all the kids have these abilities and it'll be so awesome. Thank you for watching this podcast till the end. Please let us know in the comments what more topics and guests would you like to see in future episodes.